Hello, my name is Rodney Robinson and I'm the administrator for the Facebook group Pendulum, Dowsing and Energy Balancing. Today I'm going to talk about how to deal with the problems that you may face when you first start pendulum dowsing. And there have been repeated posts in the Facebook group about what we call switching. This is a reversal of the polarity of your biofield. And how do you notice when this has happened? Well, it's very, very easy, because what happens is when you ask at the beginning of your dowsing session, please indicate my positive response, your pendulum will go in the opposite direction to what you're used to, what you're expecting. And then if you say, please indicate my negative response, then again you'll get what was formerly your positive response. And this happens when anything has reduced your auric field's ability to be strong. So anything that affects your well-being and sort of weakens your resistance to the energies that swirl around us all the time. And this could be something as simple as a bad night's sleep. So if you get up, you're feeling tired, you're not quite thinking straight, your focus isn't there perhaps, and you're not feeling 100%, then it's like, this is the kind of thing where you're likely to find that there's been a switching of your polarity. The other thing is that you could be getting a cold, or that you're just recovering from a cold. Anything whereby you're not feeling 100% well, and you're not feeling, good. It may be triggered by something as simple as going and staying somewhere in a place where there's geopathic stress, which can lower your biofield strength, and that can cause switching as well. It may be that you've been in, some situation whereby your auric field has picked up a lot of sort of chaotic energy, somewhere like a crowd, for example, where you've been jostled in say like a busy marketplace, for example, and you're jostling among all the people. All that energy, is kind of like bumping into your biofield, stirring it up. There's all sorts of interactions going on, and that can cause this switching too. So whatever the cause, if you come across it, what do you do about it? Well, you can do nothing about it and just wait to feel a little bit better, maybe waiting to see whether the day after you're up and running again as normal. A more immediate solution is to do a little tapping exercise. It's always worked with me, actually, and all you do is you start tapping just above the region of the heart on the left side of your chest, and just with light tapping come upwards from the heart, come round in a big circle and finish where you started off, and then try the pendulum response again. Indicate my yes response, indicate my no response, and things should have switched back to normal. Okay, so that's the solution, or a solution. It's always worked for me. What other problems can you have with a pendulum? Well, there are many problems that have been reported in the group, and I always ask, what sort of pendulum are you using? Because I would say 10 to 1 where there's a problem with the pendulum, it'll be one like this. It'll be a quartz crystal, probably with a chain. This is really not something that I would advise using as a dowsing tool. One is that the crystal is far too energetically active. It does all sorts of things. It amplifies energy, it stores energy, and it releases energy. All those things can interfere with the dowsing response. So plenty of reasons why not to use one, even though they look really beautiful. I just keep this just as a keepsake, really. I don't ever use it for dowsing, but it is a very beautiful, it catches the light lovely. And the chain is not good. And why do we not like chains on pendulums? Because they are electrically conductive. And anything that conducts current, so there'll be electrons moving in this chain, will attract subtle energy. And it's going to attract it from two places, really: the environment, whatever's around, and your own biofield. So this becomes energetically active as well as the pendulum. And that, of course, is transferring to the pendulum as well. So you've got all sorts of things going on that you don't necessarily want to go on during the dowsing technique, during the process. Okay, so what do we use? Well, the materials for dowsing, I always say the best ones are brass and wood. And when you look at the designs and styles of brass and wood pendulums, they come in many different styles, and they usually come in styles which, by their very design, give them a high vibrational nature, because they incorporate aspects of sacred geometry such as circles, discs, cones, spheres, hemispheres, all sorts of aspects of geometry which raise the vibration, the frequency of the item itself. Now that helps in two ways. One is that it becomes a self-clearing pendulum. It's not going to have any energy stuck to it like the one that I've just spoken about, the crystal one. So that's going to help. If you're doing pendulum alchemy manifestation, that high vibrational energy will also help with the process of sending the energy into the ether. And it will also give you some protection as well, because when you're swinging a high vibe pendulum in your biofield, some of that high vibrational quality will be transferred to your biofield. So not only is it not attracting negative stuff, it's actually raising the frequency of your biofield, which will be advantageous to you, because your aura will be stronger and more able to resist anything of a low, dense, negative nature that may be around, such as, negative emotions, for example. So that's something about the pendulum itself. Now, what happens what other problems can you get with a pendulum? So let's go back to the problem pendulum. And I'd like to bet that in every case that I'm describing, that the pendulum that person will be using will be one like this. And what can happen is that actually conscious entities can be attracted to these pendulums because they're so active, and they kind of store that energy, so energy can stick to it, and you can get attachments to your pendulum. These can be spirit attachments, they can be, other types of energies that have got some kind of consciousness. Actually, everything does have a consciousness, so that statement really is quite meaningless. But if you've got energy, of course we can't see it, but it's stuck to your pendulum. What very often happens is something different. What it will be is it will just hang there, and where you've normally been able to get a pendulum response, you can't even get your pendulum to move. And that means that pendulum has got energy stuck to it that you can't see, that is interfering with the whole process. Now you can clear energy from a pendulum with a simple decree. You can just, actually anti-clockwise if you're clearing. So it doesn't really matter, but swing your pendulum and make a decree such as: clear all low, dense, negative energies and all residual energies from previous pendulum work from this pendulum now. and then just leave the pendulum to swing until it either comes to a stop or it will swing from side to side. So I'll let that happen just to demonstrate how that goes, like that, and then it's done its work. So that's cleared. You know, that will clear any stuck energies. But if you have a wood pendulum that is already very high vibrational because of its design, this is one that I use, for example, for pendulum alchemy, manifestation, and healing work, then you can do so much more with the pendulum anyway. You can, for example, use it as a energy wand. If you hold it over acupuncture points or acupuncture meridians, you can actually feel the energy being emitted. And you can just move it very slowly. And the slower you move it, the more you're likely to feel that energy. And you're more likely to feel it over active areas of the body, like acupuncture points and meridians too. And so when you kind of get that sensation, you can just hold it at that point and keep stroking the pendulum along that point to rebalance that area. Because those areas where you feel it strongest are usually the areas where balancing is required for that at that point. So they can be used in that way. So a lot of reasons why it's very beneficial to get a pendulum that is of high vibrational nature. And they come in some very, very nice designs. I particularly like the Egyptian style. And you can get them in different styles to do different things if you want. So I hope that has been helpful. You shouldn't have too much problems with your dowsing practice if you do obtain a good pendulum. And I would advise, especially if you're just starting and you're wondering what pendulum to get, go to a reputable pendulum supplier who, as well as just showing you what the pendulum looks like, its dimensions, and that sort of thing, can give you energetic information about the pendulum as well. For example, its energetic colour, or particular properties of that energy that might help the pendulum to be used in certain areas. I have a Karnak pendulum. If I can show you that, I might have it somewhere. And it's very, very good for working on ley lines, for example. Here's my Karnak pendulum, I think. Yeah. So this is my Karnak pendulum. And again, it's a high vibrational pendulum. So you can use it for all sorts of things. But this one is particularly good for doing work on earth energies, for example, ley lines, earth power spots, finding out the location, a positive or beneficial location for certain things. I'm trying to think of an example. For example, if you're looking for a property, say to run a business from, you want to know whether the energies of that property will resonate well with the business that you're running. So this would be a good little pendulum for me. Check out the qualities of your pendulum yourself. Another way you can use it is by psychometrizing, by holding the pendulum, meditating with it, and seeing what kind of imagery the pendulum itself gives you. And this will be more clues as to the subtle nature of the energy of that particular pendulum. So I hope this has been helpful, and I do hope that you won't suffer too many pendulum problems with your dowsing practice. Thank you for listening.